Now, the United States has a rocky history with North Korea. World War II, the Korean peninsula was divided in half, and the Soviets occupied the north and the U.S. occupied the south. In 1950, North Korea invaded the South. That led to the start of the Korean War. The Kim family has ruled North Korea since that time. Now, a Knoxville doctor who's from North Korea originally has been anxiously waiting for the meeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-un. Dr. Kim escaped North Korea with his family during the Korean War and dedicated his life to helping others. He says this conversation is monumental.
In 1950, the Korean War started. North Korea's Communist Army invaded non-communist South Korea. At the time, Tom Kim was 6 years old.
I came from the North Korea, called Junghwa.
His family did all that they could to escape North Korea. They ended up doing so by train.
Yeah, I was at the top of the train. 5 other brothers just got on top of the train with my grandmother.
Kim lost family during the escape in what he remembers being negative 10-degree temperatures. Fast forward almost 70 years, and Tom Kim is now Dr. Kim, and he runs a free healthcare clinic as a way to pay America back for giving him a new life. He now looks at the meeting between President Donald Trump and North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un and hopes they can have an open conversation.
Just showing each other honesty. Honesty.
Dr. Kim says that he'd love to visit North Korea without the fear to see his family heritage, and he knows this conversation could be a huge milestone for North Korea.
North Korean people, they have to understand what's going on. You lied to them, okay? Now turn around the other way around. You know, it's going to be a big revolution.
Dr. Kim leans on his Christian faith, and his message to everyone is to love your enemy as you love your neighbor.
Just want everyone to get along.
Yeah, that's right.
And now back to Dr. Kim's family history. He told me that his dad, who is also a physician, was asked by Kim Jong-un's grandfather, Kim Il-sung, to be one of his personal doctors, but because of different beliefs, Dr. Kim's dad denied that offer.